Hey there, this is Jitsie, and this is the Crush Chronicles, a podcast about crushes and how they affect our lives as humans. So grab your coffee or wine, pull out your old diaries, and settle in for today's interview and discussion. Hi everyone, I have finally made it. We are here at the final episode for the season. It's going to be a shorter one. It's just me. I'm just going to talk about the season that has passed, and I'm going to look forward to the season that is to come. So for our first episode, we talked with Simone. The theme or the topic was word vomit. If you've seen Mean Girls, you know what I'm talking about. It's a human experience. We've all been there. And that episode was inspired by the first part of Robbie's story. And that's just a reminder that this podcast, even though you do not have to have read any of these excerpts previously, all of the podcast episodes are based on the writings that I have from my Substack. I'm writing a memoir. It's called The Crush Chronicles, hence the name of the podcast. But this podcast is a way to expand the topics that I write about beyond myself and share that part of what I've learned through this writing and part of what I've learned through these interviews that I've had is that all these things that I maybe thought I was the only one that felt that way, it turns out we all kind of feel that way. And I'm 40 years old now and just now kind of like stepping into that and learning it, and it's wonderful. So then we had Then we had episode 2, which was based on Robbie part 2. And that was with my BFF Kim. And the topic there was themes and impressions. Episode 3, our interview guest was Rebecca. And that was based upon or inspired by Blaine part 1. And the main topic there was friend zoning yourself. Then for episode 4, Blaine part 2, Noelle was the guest, and we talked about the brother complex, as in when you kind of like, it's part of friend zoning yourself, but you kind of like friend zone the guy for you if you're if you're somebody that's interested in men, you kind of put them into that brother complex. I guess the other way around would be a sister complex. But for me, it would be men, so it would be the brother complex. And also self-sabotage, which I'm sure that is a very universal thing. And unfortunately, I feel like, in my personal opinion, we don't realize we're self-sabotaging until after the self-sabotage has been done. But yeah, so we kind of talked about that. Episode 5 was based on part 3 of Blaine because, yes, Blaine got 3 parts. It was a long, drawn-out crush. But the guest on that episode was Ames, and I talked with them about realizing you have a crush because that was one of the main things that was the overarching thing about the story of Blaine. Next, we had episode 6, in which the episode was inspired by Zach, and I spoke with my good friend Kate, and that topic was about trying to impress a crush, which again, I don't recommend. Usually when we're trying to impress, we're trying to expand beyond ourselves, and really we just need to be ourselves. It's cliche, I know, but that's where we're most comfortable, and being ourselves is where we shine because that's who we are. So after that, season 7, we had our recap episode where I played my favorite parts of each one of the interviews. They were such gems of little snippets of the interviews, and I couldn't have asked for more when I had these guests on. They were so wonderful to give me their time and kind of be the guest guinea pigs for the first season of this podcast. So I really enjoyed, piecing together episode 7. And then the previous episode was the bonus episode, and that was also really fun. That is for paid subscribers, but you can go back and listen to it if you're a free subscriber to my Substack, or if you only subscribe to the podcast. I'm not sure if it is available to Apple and Spotify podcasters, but if you would like to check it out, there is a free preview, and I know it is accessible on my Substack. That's jitsie.substack.com, which gets shared at the end of each episode, and it's also in the show notes. But yeah, the bonus episode was just basically just really fun questions that were a little bit inspired by each theme of each episode or each theme of each excerpt from my Substack. But they were just kind of, some of them were fun, some of them were silly. And it was just a great way to get to know each guest a little bit better and kind of have a relaxed, kind of not serious, subjected type of question for each one. And that was also a really fun episode to put together. So that was the past season. That was season 1 of the Crush Chronicles podcast. And I am so happy about it. I think it was so fun. It was so great. If you haven't listened to each episode, I really recommend that you go back. Again, there were just complete gems of conversations that happened. And it was so wonderful to talk to all of my guests. Now, coming up for season 2 of the podcast, I am releasing applications for guests to come on. The link will be in the show notes. I will also have it up on my Instagram profile in my link tree so that you have many places to find it. It's just a Google form. Fill it out. I would love to expand my reach and meet some new people that are willing to have these fun yet sometimes deeper and a little bit more difficult conversations. And of course, they will be inspired by one of the excerpts of the Crush Chronicles series that I have written from my Substack. But again, you do not have to have read it in order to enjoy the show. In one of my previous episodes, I mentioned that I am planning on launching season 2 in the fall of this year. That is the plan, and I know that's a long time, but please bear with me. I have to obviously collect the interviews, schedule them, do them, edit them. But besides that, I also have to write the chronicles themselves in order to have episodes to base them upon. And even though those are definitely in the works, I do have some that have already been written. So the last published podcast episode based on one of the Crush Chronicles was the Crush Zach. And after that, I did continue to publish on my Substack. The next crush I introduced after Zach was Connor, and Connor was actually a long story. He was actually longer than Blaine. So yeah, like a lot longer than Blaine. That was one of my peak journaling times in high school. So I had a lot of source material to go off of with that one. And after Connor, I did introduce a new crush after that, which was Johnny. And Johnny is the one that is currently in the middle of being published on my Substack. So far, I have 1, maybe 2 out by the time this recording comes out. And he's still got a couple more publishings to go before his story gets wrapped up. And before I let you go and end this final episode of my first season of the Crush Chronicles podcast, a lot of you may be wondering, geez, Rachel, you have a lot of crushes. Can you calm down? That's kind of what inspired me to write the Crush Chronicles in the first place. If you've picked up on it, if you've read my Substack at all, whether it was the free content or the paid content, or listen to any of the previous episodes of the podcast, you may have caught that I was a military brat. I grew up with a dad in the Air Force, and we were constantly moving around, which means I was constantly exposed to not only new environments and new places, but a lot of people. And even though it was really, really hard on me, especially as I got into those preteen, teenage ages, I would not take it back because I was able to not only see so much of the country and to some extent the world, but I was also able to meet a lot of great people. I made a lot of great girlfriends, but I also met a lot of great guys, which in my case, I'm attracted to guys. But I just wanted to honor each one of them because I do really love the beauty of people. And that's just kind of that's why I have so many. I was exposed to probably 3 to 4 times more people than the average person was who just stays in one state, or even maybe, moves once or twice in their life. I moved so much, you guys, that I averaged one school per year if you average out all the schools that I attended from K through 12. That's not even including college. And I went to 2 different colleges. So that's kind of why there's so many. And, it's a passion project. And I hope that it inspires you all in some way. I hope that you at least enjoy it and are entertained. But all of that there is the reason why. That's the reason why there are so many crushes in the Crush Chronicles. I've got a lot of ideas up in this Pisces brain, okay? Got a lot of dreams that I've got to execute. With that, I will leave you to your day, your week, your month, your season to come. Until then, please do subscribe so that when the first episode of season 2 does come out, you'll know it, since it is going to be a little while away. If I can get it out before the fall, hopefully in the summer, I will definitely let you know. But if you've subscribed, then it's already going to come up in your inbox or on your feed. Until then, I appreciate every single one of you that is here listening right now. Remember to check out that link in the description box if you are interested in applying to be a guest on season 2. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me. If you like this episode and would like to hear another, please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you have some extra time, check out my Substack at jitsie.substack.com. The link will be in the show notes. That's where you can check out my memoir series that inspired this very podcast. And you can take a look at the real life stories and experiences that inspired the topics that are discussed in each episode. If you'd like to support the show and keep future episodes coming, you can buy me a coffee. It helps fuel the writing fire. The Crush Chronicles is 100% produced by me, Rachel Jitsawat. The music is by Musictown, and the sound effects are by Pixabay. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep crushing it, because no one can crush it like you can.